Hi, my name is Anne-Marie and today I will be talking about the Self-Select project. The main idea of this project is to choose one problem and find the best way to solve it. The problem that I have chosen is that I have a pile of old point shoes that I don't want to throw away due to contamination, and I want to find a way that I can use them without throwing them away. The first thing I did was look for a variety of existing products that I could use to get an idea so I can turn my old point shoes into that. This is the first one that I looked at. It's like a bell themed, but I felt like it had too much materials and details, so I couldn't really do this to each point shoe. So I decided not to choose this one because it required a lot of materials and detail and time. This is the second design that I looked at. It is a very good idea since I did have a lot of point shoes and that I could do that perfectly with all of the point shoes that I had, although it looked very hard to be able to keep the point shoes in place, but it was definitely a great idea. This one is also very cool and creative, although that I feel that it wouldn't really look good during the whole year. It would only look good during Christmas since it is a Christmas decoration. So I left that one apart since it was kind of hard to make and very Christmassy. For this project, I was the client since the product was for me and the target audience were the people with the same problem, which were my friends back at my dance academy. I also had to make a success criterion so I could compare it at the end with my final result. The goals that I listed were it's good quality, my parents approve, it looks good, the process wasn't hard, it was 100% successful, it helped all my friends, I am satisfied with the results, it lights up all of my room, there are no gaps between the point shoes, it is good enough to be sold, I hung it very beautifully, I used a LED light bulb and the light I used was completely safe. I did 3 different sketches so at the end I could choose one of them to do with my point shoes. This was the first sketch that I drew, which is very similar to the picture that I showed at the beginning. It's a type of chandelier with a light bulb in the middle that I could have hung from my room. It looks like a lot, but I did have enough point shoes that I could do that with. This is one of the hardest sketches I made since it requires some wire for the point shoes to be straight and for them to be in the same place at all times. And the only problem I have is that it's really heavy. The second sketch that I drew was a Christmas crown. The only thing that bummed me out was that it would only look good during Christmas since it is a Christmas ornament. The other thing is that it requires more materials like wire for the point shoes to stay in place and a huge ribbon for it to cover the whole middle of the design. The final sketch is a very similar one to the first one, but it's sort of the easier version. It requires less materials and the product ends up being basically the same. The sketch I chose at the end was number 3 because I felt like that was the more efficient one since it didn't require basically any materials and I would add a light bulb, which is sort of an extra. These are some pictures from the process. As you can see in the first picture, I tied every pair of point shoes together. In the second picture, you can see how I grabbed them all at once and then I put them all around the lamp that I used and it worked out perfectly. This was my final product. As you can see, it lights up my room perfectly and it looks good and I really am happy about it. I decided to do 2 different surveys so I could get some feedback from my friends. Most of my friends said that they would rate my project a 9 out of 10 and 3 of them said that they would give a 10 out of 10. They also said that it really helped them and I know that one of my friends actually did the same thing, like they grabbed their pile of point shoes and did a design out of it. She didn't do a lamp, but she made a Christmas ornament, and it really made me happy how I could actually help her with the same problem. When answering the success criterion, I noticed that I had nothing missing and that I could actually complete everything that I wanted. I achieved all of my goals and I did not have any trouble finding a LED light bulb. My dad helped me a lot with that, and other than not being able to hang it from the roof, everything went perfectly. I really enjoyed doing this project because it helped me solve my problem with my point shoes, and it was also very entertaining and fun.